Okay, YouTube intro. This is a video about Splatoon, and it's kind of crazy because I have a odd relationship with this game now. Has been for a bit, but I do like it a lot, and I kind of wanted to make it before, but I couldn't get all of my thoughts into a proper way. I still don't think I have my thoughts in a proper way, but fuck it, we're balling out right now. So, I think the main thing that really spurred this in me was this paper I had to write about a year ago for one of my esports classes. This is one of the last papers I did for college. And essentially the topic was analyze this subject in esports. You could pick really whatever you wanted. And I decided, you know what, I'll go with Splatoon because I don't think anyone else in my class is ever going to touch Splatoon with a 10-foot pole. Nobody else knows ball in that class. So I can find something unique, find something my professor doesn't know anything about, so I can get an easy grade in this class. What? And I did get a pretty easy grade in that class, no lie. But I think this paper had a lot of weird things I decided to go with, but I felt like a lot of the points I made were pretty solid at the time. I wrote this paper over the course of April to May of 2025, and the big things I really talked about in the paper were the fact that Nintendo doesn't really pop up its esports scene in any game, really. I brought in some Smash examples as well for how they've not really handled a lot of stuff well, and also how they generally do Splatoon even back then, as well as the grassroots scene just being its own sort of thing. It's not uncommon for a game to have a really good grassroots scene. But I think Splatoon's is even special in that regard. I say some of the things that make Splatoon's grassroots special in that. And I didn't focus on it as much in the paper, but I thought oh yeah, this game is kind of just fading to irrelevancy, because they did say that they were going to stop patching the game, or they did say that they intended to stop supporting the game 2 years after, and at this point it'd been 2.5, and people were yeah, this game's probably cooked for fucking ever. And then literally less than a month after this paper dropped, they did their whole thing, the whole shebang with the weapon reveals, and I was happy, but I was also kind of pissed because it just invalidated everything I wrote. Even though I already had the grade and everything turned in for it, I was yo, these guys deadass just trolled me right now. I wrote all of this about how they're never going to do anything for Splatoon ever again. They dropped a big number patch, and they're still dropping number patches today, i.e. the game is never going to die. They could just drop anything nowadays and it'd be yeah, I guess. And this also makes it the longest lasting Splatoon game straight up. Splatoon 2 had its patches however many years. I think they dropped a patch last year, but they didn't have big numbered patches over 2 years out of release. So this was quite insane to get hit by some random morning in June. And then they also dropped the NA League teaser, I think that same week, and I was they're actually doing something with this concept of esports now, which I really did not think they would ever do, considering they have not the greatest history. Nintendo doesn't have the greatest history with just doing esports stuff. And so I thought this NA League stuff, at the time I didn't think it would be anything. I kind of ignored it for a while up until I saw this stuff in September, and oh my god, they went ham at this, and I did not think they would ever do that. I wasn't as tapped into it, but I was able to be tapped in because they had the NA League show, which is genuinely one of the most it's very well put together. And of course it's Nintendo, I'd expect them to have nonetheless, but this is very high effort. It's very a lot of community interaction. What they did here, they had people at Riptide, which is a tournament I name dropped in the video, not in the video, in my essay, for saying yeah, Nintendo doesn't even touch Riptide for some reason, even though it's the biggest tournament ever. They touched Riptide. They went to Riptide. I think it's very insane that they kind of went full pivot just stay away from the community altogether until like, yeah, we're just gonna collab with like most of the people in the scene. We're gonna make like a lot of very high quality episodes in our NA League. Let's draw a circle around that, shall we? No, I don't want that. I don't want that. I don't want that. I want this. Let's draw a circle around this. Wait, let's make that circle bigger. Shit, I don't know how. I forgot. That's fine. We have that circle around here. But the NA League was a very good experiment for them, and I think they're gonna do it again, I believe. I don't know, but it's very fun to, it was very fun to watch. At least like the parts of it I was able to tap into. I think it's like very telling that they're going to do something like this again. And I'm really glad my point was proven wrong in my old paper. And among other points, it was this, and also that like grassroots was good. Grassroots is still like doing really well. What was it, the LAN showdown that they had one of those last year? I name dropped that in the paper, and now they're having another that's going on right now, and it's really fucking beautiful. Like they have even more like tournaments going on because of the LAN scene. The LAN scene is fucking amazing. I love going to LANs. That's the part of Splatoon I really will like tap into until the end of time, I guess. But the LAN scene is like popping so much. I'm pretty sure CCA just had a season. I didn't get to play much CCA, only like one season, just because that's how the times lined up. But the CCA was very enjoyable for what I got to like experience of it. Ludi, I got my gripes with Ludi, but it's still like very insane that they're able to do like what they do. Like fucking shout outs to you if you're staffing at Ludi, if you're staffing at LAN, if you're staffing CCA. You're just like one of the people that's making the scene so great. This is kind of a glaze video until a certain point, and I'll keep glazing up until the Sendo ink, because I kind of wanted to make this before, saying like, you know, I think there's some things that could be like fixed within like the larger sphere. Like I feel like there needs to be like some system to tier shit. Like, you know, why should I care about watching everything? It's like, yo, they just dropped a tiering system, like a legit tiering system on Sendo Inks. Like, I don't think a lot of people outside of Splatoon realize how genuinely hands down fucking insane Sendo Ink is of a tool. If you're a Sendo Ink dev, you're like genuinely doing God's work and beyond. You need some like, you need financial compensation for the shit you're doing. Because there are not a lot of people that are willing to like put as much effort into something like this and make it like such an amazing end product for anyone. There are so many good things that are like completely separate from Nintendo. I didn't even talk about fucking Riptide, which is just an amazing thing. If I will go to Riptide every single year, I'm not probably gonna not play Splatoon like every single year, but it's such a good experience. I'm so like glad there's so many good grassroots things. But I think that all kind of leads to me being like, why don't I actually play this game like at all anymore? I'll tap in like every once in a while, like, but there was a point in time like late 2024 up until I guess now that I would really only tap in like once a month or for some very like special occasions. And that's to say, like, I didn't even get the text up here. Whoops. That's to say, I still do like enjoy doing community stuff. Like again, I will go to a LAN if it's like convenient enough for me. And it's like I try to do some commentary stuff. The commentary is like very fun for me. But I'm not like trying to really grind the game anymore. And I really wanted to like ask myself why for that. For reference, I like never really escaped low level hell. Not hell, but like in attempts to like get out of low level hell, I kind of did have to confront like the reasons why I even played the game. And over that process, over that period of time, I realized it's very difficult to like put into words what I have issues with, because each of these images is here for a fucking reason, and I'm just not looking at them. I think the biggest thing for me is that finding stuff to do was kind of annoying beyond belief. You really have to like advertise yourself as a player in a very specific way, and there are like a lot of factors outside of the game that I just did not really jive with doing. Like you really have to to prop yourself up. Part of that is like result cultured, but Jesus Christ, I don't want to touch that right now. In some situations, it's like kind of hard to actually push out of those lower ranks. It's very fun to like play with friends and stuff, but it's like if you want to tap in to those different tiers of play, it's so annoying. I don't know if I'm wording it right, but it actually no, this part was dumb. I'm scrapping it. Actually no, I'm keeping it all in. We do this all in one take. I think there's also like reasons why I just don't really want to interact with like the larger scene in general. This is here because there are like some bad actors. There's bad actors everywhere, but I think the bad actors in Splatoon are very like, I genuinely question it, because why the fuck are you even here? You can't even like grift people in this fucking scene. You're just here being a dumbass. But I think that's like part of the reason I don't really like want to interact with the community at large. I interact with my small groups, and that's chill. And I think for the most part, most groups are like very, very chill. It's just when you get into the wrong spaces, things get very annoying very fast. And that part of it is just that annoyance. I'm not a shooter guy myself, and so I'm not like particularly attached to like a lot of different games. If I get like super annoyed at some points, I will kind of just get off and do something else that's not shooter related. So, like, this is kind of a factor of annoyance, but I could have also just put like Sendo Q and stuff. I'm really not a fan of Sendo Q. That's just me though, and my preferred method of grinding was X. So I think there were just like a lot of reasons I did not really want to tap into the game long term. Even though I really love the scene, the lands, I'll still play for like a LAN. I'll still tap into commentate. But overall, I don't think there's a lot that really like make me want to hard compete again. Just play to my heart's content. But in conclusion, the paper I wrote was really, really dog shit, and it got proven wrong really, really fast. I think it's just funny to look back at. I don't know if I'm gonna like publicly share it. I kind of don't really care to, because there are some issues with it, but overall it makes sense. I love this game a lot, truly, and I think the scene is amazing. It is just like very difficult to play it sometimes, but it's fun and I love it a lot, and so I just want to make this video. Yeah, fucking whatever. Suck my dick.